Assalamualaikum. My name is Sister Margaret. I came into the nation in 1959, and I was Margaret 9X. Okay, the X stood for how many people was in the mosque, how many Margarets were in the mosque at that time. Okay, the first one I heard, like I said, was Malcolm, and he was on the street. My brother had been in the nation, so he brought me in, me, my husband, and I had one child at that time. The nation at that time was very, very, very active. We went, like I told you earlier, we went Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday was Sisters, MGT. Wednesday was, he really taught the Muslims. But it was open to the public. Mm-hmm. Thursday was, I forgot what Thursday was. No, Friday was regular. And then Saturday, I think that was the only day we didn't go. All right. The nation at that point was really like a family. It was, the best thing they ever did was the MGT. Because when as soon as you went in, they greeted you. And then they taught us everything we had to know. You know,
what does MGT stand for?
Muslim Girls Training. Okay. And there you learn like your recipes, you know, the duties of a woman in Islam, how to raise your children, you know, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, the social part was very good. You know, because you met, I lived in Brooklyn, New York. But they had people from Long Island, Brooklyn, Bronx, of course Harlem, you know. My founder's memory is with the MGT, all right. I became good friends with people from Queens. Like me and Betty became very close. Okay. Because, see, every time she got pregnant, I got pregnant. You know, it's like, my oldest daughter is Atlas, they're the same age. Mm-hmm. My son was the same age as her second. My daughter was the same as her third. And then my last son was one of her children. And then she went on. I stopped. It was like, okay. When I say family, I mean, like we helped each other. There was one time when I was very sick, and your sisters came, they got my children, they cleaned my house. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, and I was so embarrassed because I had been sick for a week or so the bathroom was not clean. You got 5 people, 4 kids there, right. Mm-hmm. You know. So they came there like it was nothing, mm-hmm. But it made you want to do for them, mm-hmm. You know. Someone told me, I didn't hear it myself, that Wallace said, when he came in, he said one of the mistakes he made was disbanding the MGT. Mm-hmm. Because it was really a very important part, you know. Because you come in now, and okay, you may meet some sisters. I've been blessed, mm-hmm. I really. And I think when I came down here, I was older, so it was easier, mm-hmm. You know. But sisters that are 20, 25, who do they talk to? Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we never did, we never talked our real personal business. We never talked about, you know, he didn't come home last night, or mm-hmm. They was out all night, you know. We never talked business like that. I can remember being in Malcolm's house, and, you know, they make it sound like this was some big house. This was a tiny little house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That was the one that got firebombed?
That got firebombed. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't his house, it was the nation's house. Mm-hmm. But before that, he had lived in a house where one of the sisters had it. Mm-hmm. You know, he lived in it. When they got, I don't know how that happened. When he got married, I think they lived with the sisters for a little bit, mm-hmm. And then they got the house, you know. When you would go, there was a restaurant right downstairs from the masjid. Mm-hmm. And when you go there, when we used to go down there, the brothers would be around there trying to what they call science it up, you know, talking all that stuff. Malcolm would sit with the sisters, mm-hmm. Because he was tired. Mm-hmm. You know, you doing all of this, you taught all day, brothers want to say, yeah, but when you said that, did you mean that? You know, I get that. You know, he don't want to be bothered. You know, so I remember one time going to, I think it was Boston, where Betty's mother lived, and we went, we rode there, and we thought we was going to stay a while, but she wanted to talk to her mother by herself. Malcolm stood right there. He would not allow it.
They wouldn't allow her to talk to her mother?
Yeah, as long as he was there. So I went in hindsight, it's like maybe they had something going. I don't know. You know, I can never say anything bad about, I really can't say anything bad about Malcolm. You know, my biggest thing was when he left, it was a very dangerous time in New York. You know, we couldn't allow it to be, because everybody was fighting against each other. The children couldn't go out to play in the street. Because like a couple of times they was out and this car like slowed down and the brother rolled down the window. They didn't do anything, you know. So it was a very dangerous times at that point. And that was Muslims fighting Muslims.
So, oh man. So have you seen that documentary, Who Killed Malcolm? It's on Netflix?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
What do you think about who killed him or how he was killed? I know there are people that went to prison and now they're saying they were...
They wasn't there, but they wasn't there.
They weren't
because
there.
I knew Brother Thomas lived in my sister, Muriel's, he lived in her building. And when that went down, he was in Muriel's house. And they had Muriel come and testify and everything. They held all of that. Their brothers, they spent 20-something years in jail.
Right. Well, why do you think they allowed them to be in prison for that long if they didn't do it?
Because somebody, first of all, they wanted to blame somebody. And them two brothers they were lieutenants. You know, Brother Thomas and Brother, I forgot the other brother's name. But Brother Thomas was the one that we knew well. But you know what happened is like, they came after Malcolm, well, when Malcolm was out, when he left the nation, my husband went to FOI, and Brother Sharif, the Supreme Captain, he was there. And he told him, brother, he said, I don't know why you haven't brought us his lying tongue. Which was a goal, which was saying, go kill him. You know, my husband never went back. He said, I didn't get this old to, you know, we was in our 20s, 30s. He said, I didn't get this old to join no gang. You know, so, but that was the bad part. But, you know, the good part was that there was a lot of love. And when the sister was talking about the train, we were on it. We used to, sisters at first, when we would go, it was safe at that point to go to MDT on Thursday. It was Thursday night. So we was on the train, you know, and something happened on the train anyway. But they stopped letting us go on the train. And so what would happen is the brothers would come and they would pick us up. But what they had, in the MDT, they had to tell us, sister, y'all need to get that brother, the money that you had paid for your ride, you need to get that brother. Because they don't come out on Thursday, so they're coming to take you. And you getting out his car saying, so long later. You know what I'm saying? These brothers, but you know, so, and then it got to the point where they would give them a token and have three kids with them. It's like, to the point where they just said, listen, if you ride, this is what you got to pay the brothers if you got in the car. There was a lot of little incidents, but the good part was, like I said, before all of the confusion, it was a wonderful, wonderful life. You know, there was nothing more than, I didn't want to be nothing more than a mother. You know, it's like, to me, that was the best years of my life. You know.
So after that, so you were around in 75, 76 with the transition.
Right.
Were you here or where were you at?
I was in New York. It took me a while to come into the transition.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know there were so many rumors about Wallace. Oh, he was in jail, and he did something with his father, and the father put him out the Nation of Islam for, you know, there was so much garbage. So I was saying, am I going to join one person and then not the other? It's like, I'm not, it's hard for me. Because, let me put it this way. When they told us that Quran was God, we believed it. And we told, when they said Elijah Muhammad was his messenger, we believed it. Okay? And so much to the point where when we would go what they call Savings Day in February. When we went there, first of all, it was an exciting time because we didn't used to eat in restaurants because you know, you're not supposed to eat anything where pork was sold. So we didn't eat in restaurants, but so when we went to Chicago, they had a breakfast time, and they had like the kosher breakfast, and everybody, we lost our mind. Because you could eat any place. You could eat in our restaurant, but it wasn't the same because everybody was there, you know?
Right.
And so that was one Savings Day. I took my son and my daughter. My son and my daughter went one time, and then we never went back. I never went back after that. I went for Elijah Muhammad's funeral. Okay. But it was so many people, you couldn't get no place near it. You couldn't even, that was a waste. You know, but like I said, it took me a while to transition. You know, my niece who used to live with me, and I brought her into Islam. She picked up on Wallace right away. She's still an avid Muslim. You know, yeah, she's in Albany, New York.
Okay.
But she always, every time, you know, she writes me a letter, she said, I just want to thank you for bringing me into Islam, you know. So my brother bought me and another one of my sisters. Then Tohida came in, which is one of my nieces. And then a couple more of my nieces came in. So the family, let me put it this way, nobody family eats pork. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you think we are missing today from what you had in the first experience?
I think I found it with Hydra and that's the kind of love there was. Yeah, that's the kind of, it's like they don't care, you know, they don't care if, you know, if you lived in a slum, you know. There was very few of us that had houses, you know. So, because that's what I was so disappointed when I went to Malcolm's house because they would say, oh, you know, Malcolm such and such and such. She never talked about it. She just, you know, she had this, I forgot what it was something with sisters. I forgot what it was that we went there for. But I see this little house that ain't as big as my apartment. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was theirs, and, you know, and I can tell you that she loved him. I mean, she loved him unequivocally. That's like when it comes to like the thing with the Godfather of Harlem. You know, that whole thing about her being, she was humble in her own way, but very strong in her own way. You know, she never did anything to. She would talk to him because she used to call him Dear One.
Call him what?
Dear One.
Dear One.
Yeah, I think it was Dear One. She called him, you know, like we need such and such and such, you know. But it was she never argued with him in front of anybody, nobody. If they had an argument, that's why when you see these things where she's told, how do you know that?
Right,
unless she told them. They did not argue. They did not argue in front of him, you know. And I remember one time he had a sister. What was her name? I forgot her name. But she was very Ella. Yes, she was very, very influenced by him. I mean, he was very influenced by her. And she came into the nation, but she didn't stay. She went to traditional Islam early, while he was still.
Yeah, she's a real strong-minded, strong-willed woman. I think she was a businesswoman or something.
Yeah, what did she? Whatever it was, she was successful.
Right. Because he went to stay with her. I read his book multiple times, and I remember him going to stay with her and talking about how strong of a woman that she was. She was dark-skinned.
She adored him though.
There are videos of her now talking about him and talking about she knew that he was going to be somebody. She knew that even as a kid that he was special.
And he had a hard life. That was, And then what I felt so bad about was the way they did it with the house, because that was the same experience he had. You know what I'm saying? Well, how do you burn somebody's house?
Right.
And then, but see, all of that stuff is FBI. All of that stuff. Yeah, that brother that, when you see that he's standing over Malcolm in his death, that brother's an FBI agent.
Yes. And I saw that. There was so many informants in the Audubon room.
That's right.
They said it was like 9 in there, and so they knew what happened. They knew those 2 people that they arrested did not do it.
But see, the mistake that he made was that was the day that he said, we're not going to search anymore.
I wonder why he did that.
I don't know.
He was tired of dealing with it, or what?
I don't know. I think that, I don't know. Sometimes people think you think it's your time.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But I don't think that was because he would have never let Betty come with the kids.
Yeah, see that.
So that first I said he knew what was going to happen, but he wouldn't have let his family see that.
Yeah, it had to be a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Well, I really, really appreciate you telling your story. We, on this day of commemorating the pioneers, you have a special story. I think your story is older than Brother Imam Asadi is what I've heard.
Yeah, he said he came at 61.
So we really appreciate it.
I appreciate
Having first-hand knowledge is something that is invaluable. We can't do without it. I remember being in Memphis, and they had a museum, and they had a brother from the Nation of Islam came there with his son, and he was showing his son the history, because even them now don't have the history without you all. And without the papers and all the experiences they had. So we can't know how to move forward without your story and without your experience. My aim is to have this area as a museum as well. So the mosque in Memphis is, I think it's Masjid Mu'minun. And they're obviously under Imam Wafdi Muhammad's leadership, but they have a march is celebrating Muslim Heritage Month. So the Nation of Islam and Al-Islam, everybody gets together, the immigrant community, and they all go into that museum so they can see how they transition from the nation into Orthodox Islam. Because there are so many rumors swirling around our masjid. Just last week, a brother from our community went to an immigrant masjid or immigrant imam's masjid, and they said, I don't mess with them in the Nation of Islam. It's still going on because they have no idea the transition that Imam Wafdi Muhammad led the largest mass conversion in American history. No, they let him in. This is what happened. He came in, and they asked him what masjid. He told them that he was a new Muslim. He's only been a Muslim maybe for a year. So they said, what masjid did you go to? And he told them, he said, you don't want to go there, they're the Nation of Islam. So they were trying to dissuade them. So just imagine anybody else who's from there, they would be dissuaded. So fortunately, I was able to communicate with the Imam there, and he said, it was a misunderstanding. He didn't know. People told him because he came from somewhere else as well. That's what they told him. So that museum that they have in Memphis is a great idea to inform the masses, inform the other Muslims. Because other Muslims have no idea. They're around telling people that we're not Sunni Muslim. So it's up to us to educate Muslims as well as non-Muslims. So you doing this is instrumental in that. It's something that, and then you being someone who met Malcolm X, it's obviously a childhood hero of mine, and there are countless people who've read his book who become Muslim because of him, and you being able to know him and know his wife and his family is something that we cannot duplicate. So I really appreciate your time and effort, and I need you to come to the store so you can get your pick out the dress. All right, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. I appreciate you.